things we're doing is I wanted to make sure that we honored kind of our Patreon levels and made sure that we were saying thanks to everyone as they joined, because that's something we said we were going to do. There's more than 100 Patreon supporters now. And so I wanted to go ahead and make sure that we gave them a shout on stream.
Yeah, and
just
if you would, if you have the whole like block of them, can you send them to me as well, and I'll make sure to shout them out again later.
Yeah. I will take some screenshots and get them over.
Awesome.
It's not the easiest, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump in and say thank you. I'm sorry, guys. 2 seconds. Hold on, guys. 2 seconds.
The kids.
Okay. Yeah. We got kids and stuff running around the house.
Yes, I'm sure they're loving the
right.
vacation.
Here, and here's Sterling, right?
Hi,
there.
Sterling. Good to see you.
So, anyways, we're gonna start thanking Patreon people. We had Aaron West, Aiden Nutting, Alex Smith, Amanda Million, Amanda Norris, Andy Nubbs, Andy Gay, Austin Smith, Brendan Steele. I mean, lots of super regulars here.
Yeah, Brennan.
Calvin Lacasio, I believe, is how you pronounce that. Awesome. Carlos Martinez, Carlos Rodriguez, Chris Despain, Chris Singleton, Chuck Cage, Cloud Allen, Colin, Greg Johnson, the Crookston family, Cross Kirchmeyer, the Boring Dragon. I guess they let you don't have to use your real name, I guess. David Downing, David Goodenough. Hey, I haven't seen him in a long time.
Tiger.
Yeah, he moved.
David,
Tiger.
yeah.
Tiger.
Oh, is that what happened? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he moved. I want to say the Northeast.
David Jackson, David Jandrew, David Whitlock, Damon Adkisson, yeah. Denny Doughboy, Drake Winter, Dylan Smith, Edward Morgan, Flynn's Bit, Jeff Krilling, and then we're only like a third of the way through. It's really amazing the support that we've received so far.
I know like 80% of those people by name too.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, the great thing, I mean, to the extent there's anything good that's happened, is how quickly people came out and talked about how the arcade changed their lives, or the arcade had influenced their life in some way. So then we have Jerry Holt, Glenn Pena, Guillermo Vega, Ian Balon, J.H., Jake Melkonian, yeah, that's it, James Black, Janae Taylor, Jason, Jennifer Carpenter, I'm going to have to click it to see it's shortened. Capperton, Jennifer Capperton, thank you. Jennifer Guerrero, Ginny Orolso. Wow, this is a harder test than I thought it would be. Jeremy Withers, Jerry.
There's too many names.
Jesse Madsen, Jesse Magers, or Maggers. I think it's Magers. Magers is probably, I don't know. I hope it's Magers. Jimmy Bowman, Johnny Holly, Jonathan Kim, Carrie Celeste, Katya G, Kels, I think it's Kels Pettigo, Kelsey Hyden, thanks, Corey Brown, Lauren Monreal, Larry Rue, Luke New, Maddie Morris, Myra Hild, Marianne Marlowe, Mark Vombus. I mean, just tons of like awesome people we've met since we opened the arcade. It's so cool.
So many familiar names.
Megan Reike, Mel Bobadilla, I believe, hopefully. Melissa Ruiz, Micah Prude, Michael Beltran, Michael Mirsky, Mihir Vasi, Mike Patterson, Mike Rima, Mitchell Rhodes. I believe this person's going by Most Vertical Primate. All right. Nathaniel Ryded.
Nilo,
yes. Nilo Ramos III, Owen Barnett, Paige Capperton, Patricia Trevino, Patrick Martinez, Radio Citizen, Ricardo Benitez, Richard Ivy, Rose Rowdy, Ryan Saint. It's WRBA. I'm not sure that's pronounceable, but Sandy McSpadden, Sean C, Shannon Stevenson, Shell Rapid Loop. Thanks, guys. Skylar Sedate, Spooky Jess, Stephen McCown, Steve Caruth, The Fist of Dread, Trish Ann, Tucker Chatfield, Tyler Young, and Tyson Summer, Vic Ruiz, and Wes Clyburn have all joined our Patreon. So that's pretty incredible. Pretty amazing just to have. I mean, when we first launched it, we were kind of scrambling and not sure if anyone was going to respond to it or anything. And now we have, more than 103 Patreons. So super, super big thank yous to all of y'all. It's going to be super helpful as we go through things like right now I'm actually working on all of our leases, negotiating, and all of that, and it's going to be just days and weeks of this, as no one in the world has ever dealt with this kind of situation where you go from like 100% perfect revenue to zero as fast as we did. And obviously, if you look at the news, many of the kind of nationwide restaurant chains and everything are saying that there's going to be major problems. So we're a much smaller business, but we're dealing with those just the same. So that's where we are. But super big thank you to all of y'all on Patreon. One thing to keep in mind: Patreon does re-up on the first of the month, so next Wednesday. So if you need to change your level, reduce your level, or stop being a Patreon supporter, we will not hold it against you. We just want to make sure that you're not caught off guard because you did join in the middle of the month, and the way Patreon is set up, it's designed to kick back in on the first. So make sure everyone looks at that, adjusts accordingly, because we certainly don't want you to feel bad about supporting us. We appreciate everything y'all have done so far. So that was kind of my check-in. There's a lot of interesting activity. I don't know if you have spoken about it today, going on in Congress, the Senate, passing what looks pretty good. I guess we'll see. The House is supposed to vote on it maybe tomorrow in terms of stimulus and everything. Sterling is trying to interrupt this. Here, go to your maze, dude. We've got schooling at home. We're the teachers now, and it turns out we're not as good as we thought we might be at this. It's hard to stay on task.
Well, amongst everything else, all at the same time, we're all kind of dealing with the madness being introduced into our lives.
So I think that there's a lot of good in that Senate package, and so to the extent I think it's kind of crazy that we live in these times, but the economy's mostly shut down, so they have to do something really fast. So
I already did it.
Do it again, or do a different one. That was really why I was jumping on. Obviously, I'm distracted, and I apologize for that.
It's okay. It's okay. We are all distracted. That's kind of, we're distracted together, and we're trying to just kind of get through this and help power you and Free Play through this as well.
Well, and in the meantime, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's just donated on PayPal. We're not listing that list because we didn't say we would, but there's a ton of really, really amazing people who have given there. To me, that's like extra incredible because they went through all of the options and they were like, you know what, we're just going to throw money at Free Play and try to help them, which is pretty crazy too.
And to paraphrase, we would happily mention all your names. It's just you for privacy and you concerned about legality and making sure that you are representing yourself in how you present yourself throughout. Like, that's why we're not saying the names. We are very appreciative.
Yeah, and if you want to private message me and say, hey, next time you're giving shout outs, I want my name in there.
Yeah, you can send it to me too.
Message. We'll happily do that. It's really just, we didn't say we would, so we're not going to, just in case. We also have sold, I think we've sold probably 150, 200, maybe more t-shirts, which before that, the merch site had sold something like 20 total pieces of merchandise since we launched it last year. With our primary merch sales being in store, but the second we took away the in store and the second we said, hey, we need some help, people jumped all over it and have been ordering t-shirts and everything like crazy, which is really awesome. And we do have that Save Free Play pre-order still active. We're still probably 20-ish days from getting those shirts in, maybe a little bit more. So get your pre-orders in and it'll help us get those shirts. We imagine we'll have a small stocking of them after the pre-sale's done and after we get all of our orders in, but it won't be a ton. Obviously, we're not really in the position to order a bunch of extra shirts. So if you want to guarantee one of those Save Free Play shirts, definitely make sure you go ahead and buy it now, because that's the only real way we can guarantee you'll end up getting one. And other than that, it's been really, really cool. A lot of people have said a lot of nice things about the how fast we were shipping out the merch and all of that. Which it was kind of interesting to me because I was like, we don't have a lot else going on. I mean, obviously we're crazy busy trying to save the business, but it's been kind of like, it's been really interesting trying to adapt and find stuff to do, given
I've
what we were
succeeded
coming
in
from.
that endeavor.
Right. And then, we've got this weekend coming up. We've got Richardson open the whole weekend for food and beer deliveries. So that'll be, not only will it be interesting and hopefully generate some revenue, it's kind of an interesting test for that style of model. Obviously, it could never replace what kind of, the arcade was, but it is really nice. Not only are seeing people that are just ordering food or buying beers to support us, but also getting like all these positive reviews back about our products that we've worked so hard on for so long.
Yeah, I made some deliveries Monday as part of the first test of that, and it was honestly, I had my mask on and the hand sanitizer, which I still have, taking all precautions, but it was honestly still nice to see the faces of the people that we've grown to know and love at Free Play. So.
Right. Yeah, it was really fun talking to people who were super positive about just having, their favorite sandwich that they hadn't had in a couple weeks or a week since we'd been closed. And they'd been craving what they normally got because they participate in things like Tuesday night fights or, one of the pinball leagues or come on every Sunday or every Saturday. It's kind of nice having people reach out and talk about how, they just are missing Free Play so much. They'll take anything they can get, which obviously we'll also take anything we can get right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, Monday I thought I'd had the last Carlos Rodriguez pizza I would ever taste, and I was crying. I was weepy when I got one extra a few days later. So there it is.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to hop on really quick, make sure we were staying above on that Patreon stuff. I'll shoot you all of the names, and I hope to hopefully be participating a little bit more in the stream. Maybe play some games sometime. That sounds exciting. But for now, I'm just gonna sign off.
Oh, hold on. I got a couple questions if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just wanted to get so. They asked, what if a big group of Arlington players put in a giant order? Could I deliver that?
Maybe at the end of the day, like
that's 8:30. 8:30 is when we close, by the way.
Yeah, I think because our biggest problem is you're our only delivery driver.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
So
and I live
if you
here.
were gone for like 2 hours, it might be kind of tough.
Yeah. Although you might have other people wanting to counter program and pay me to stay and come back on the stream too. So. It's conflicting,
right.
but yeah, we're certainly taking all orders that we can get, and if you can drive out here and do the pickup thing, then that's less stress on the system, also.
Right. Yeah. We this is definitely not our full-time thing, so we don't have like a fleet ready of delivery drivers. So, we could probably, if you made it around the 8:30, I think that would be possible. But yeah, right now we're sticking to that 3-mile radius just to make sure that you can get it. Chris can get there and get back in time to get the next order out.
And the last question, and I'm sorry if you have questions right now in the chat. I can't actually see the chat. But would Free Play ever get Silent Scope? What are your thoughts on Silent Scope? We were talking about bonkers games that would be impossible to get on the Free Play floor because they had gimmicks involved, like something like Top Skater or DDR.
Yeah, I mean DDR is coming. Mm-hmm. Things like Top Skater, the skiing game, maybe what was it, Arctic Thunder on the snowmobile. Mm-hmm. That one's more likely, but Silent Scope's really tough just because of our volume. Like if we were a lower volume, and right now we're 0 volume, so it's weird to even talk like that. But if we were a lower volume arcade, or maybe even a coin play arcade, I think Silent Scope would be pretty easy to put out. But when you think about our numbers and our volume that we have through the door and the amount of people who touch the games, coin up the games, those kind of large moving parts just don't seem to do very well. It's hard enough just keeping things like Terminator 2 guns going. I'm not sure. That said, I mean, I love Silent Scope, and if anything ever fell into place that we felt comfortable, and that's another problem is most of the Silent Scopes that I've seen for sale, even the ones that were considered generally nice, weren't really in great condition, and it's not like you can just buy a lot of those parts still. So that's another consideration we have before we put a game out is how easy will it be to buy another one and get more parts for it. So
was there a particular piece of Silent Scope that was more susceptible to blowing up than others?
1 minute. Sorry, 1 second. What's up? 5 per.
Okay, casino already.
Good work. So yeah, Silent Scope had the little screen inside the gun that wasn't particularly reliable. The other problem is the way they did the calibration. It's really tough. I feel like that one, I'm not actually encouraging like Raw Thrills or anything to do it, but that is actually probably ripe for a kind of modern re-release with modern hardware. Given that you could use a modern LCD pretty easily in the scope, and the display could be a lot cleaner with a modern flat screen. So
Was that a CRT in the scope?
No, I don't think so. No, I think it was just a tiny little, like very, very small LCD that had, probably like 80 pixels each way.
Okay.
Something really, really small. And I imagine you could replace or emulate that today. But overall, that whole gun is just a nightmare. Not at all like if you have it in your house working, like right now, probably gonna survive the rest of your life. But give it a few thousand plays, and I think there's a high chance that something major is going to break, and you'll probably have to go find another silent scope to get the part for it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. I know you got to get back to being a teacher and a lawyer and keeping free play alive and filling orders and reading 800 pages of documents about.
That was my morning today. Yeah, that was
your
fun.
eyes must be glazed over from reading that much nonsense out of Congress. I'm thanks for reporting for us, because I have been on the air and I really haven't had a chance to. Not that I would read 800 pages of it, but like I certainly don't know. I'm not as in tune with the news as I could be if I wasn't streaming all the time. So thank you very much for your help.
Well, yeah, and on that, there's a lot of like kind of misinformation going around, and the key here is that nothing has been finalized. So.
Yeah, it's just through the Senate, and it needs to be approved by the House and then signed before it could go into effect, right?
Right. So they're supposed to vote on Friday. The House is. Then it would have to go to the president's desk to get signed. So in theory, he's indicated once it's passed the House, he'll sign it. But we'll see if there are any changes that come across that could cause delays.
Yeah. And you said right now it's looking like $600 for individuals on unemployment a week. Is that right?
Yeah. In addition to what they're currently receiving.
How does that work?
Federal government has money. They're going to throw it at people.
Okay.
There's a couple interesting clips if you want to see those different senators debating it, because to me that's one of the most interesting parts is for once they're trying to actually replace lost income with unemployment.
Yeah.
At least a lot more compared to what unemployment normally is, which is just a small recurring payment.
Yeah, no, it was weird. I basically read a little bit about the debate last night, and I know Lindsey Graham was on the side of not doing it, and Bernie Sanders was looking to burn down the whole House if they didn't do it. And I know Lindsey Graham was worried that it would motivate people to not work, and having just been approved for disaster unemployment and being on unemployment of any type for the first time of my adult and part of my child life, I'm working harder than ever right now, so I cannot relate to that even. Like, we're all working so very hard just to survive right now, so I appreciate it.
It's a super weird, like totally. I mean, nothing like this has ever happened before,
No.
right? I mean, 3 million plus people hit unemployment last week, and
with another million plus this week we're expecting. Yeah,
so it's historic numbers because it's a historic shutdown of the economy. So hopefully, I'm hoping to have some more information on it tomorrow. I'm hoping that things get passed and we can start making some plans based on what's in that massive relief bill. But for now, that's pretty much all I got.
Thank you very much. If you want the quickest and most efficient way to get on the air, just come join us at twitch.tv/freeplayarcade and post it in the chat. We're all monitoring that super quick. You're in the Discord, so we'd love to hear from you anytime you're available to us, because we're all working very, very hard with you to try and save free play.
All right, that sounds good, man.
All right, see you tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye. There you go. The CEO, or former CEO of free play. Hard to say exactly how it is, but he is working very hard behind the scenes to make sure that that free play makes it through. So thank you, Corey, for joining us.